Good morning, everybody. It's day 8. And it's a very special day today because check it out. That's the full moon at sunrise. So we got the full moon and we got the sunrise. Isn't that awesome? So what a cool day today. But I hope everybody's having a great one. I went to bed. I got really excited last night a little bit. Well, really a little bit. I got excited last night and had a hard time falling asleep. So I ended up getting to bed around 10 and then getting up around 4. So that's not too bad. That's 6 hours. I can operate on 6 hours of sleep sometimes. But I gotta admit, again, this morning, I was like, I don't want to get up. But I did anyway. And I'm glad I did. Because what a freaking incredible day. Look at this. There's the moon. Anyways, I hope you all had an incredible Father's Day, talking to your dads, talking to your kids. And yesterday was great. So the day after Father's Day is a magical day. I'm going to turn around so we can start getting the sunrise here. And I like these pink skies that we get here in Phoenix. Check that out. It's so beautiful. Look at that. Something about Phoenix. It's really beautiful here. I love that moon right there. How cool is that? Yeah, check out those mountains. Wow. It's so beautiful up here. So I hope you're having a great day today. And today I actually wanted to talk a little bit about anger. I learned some things about my past. Now there's a quick thing before I get into the anger part, I want to talk about that before we're 5 years old, between 5 and 7 years old, supposedly about 85% of our adult habits are locked in by the time we're 5 to 7 years old. And I'm going to break that down a little bit for you, because before we're 5 years old, we don't have a conscious mind yet. Before we're 5 years old, we only have an unconscious mind or a subconscious mind. We have a mind where everything from our environment is dumped in. What is our conscious mind if you really think about it? Our conscious mind is our filter of the world. It's our filter using our past experiences. So if our conscious mind is our conscious filter of the world, then when we're under 5 years old, we don't have enough life experiences to have built our filter yet, if that makes sense. So the interesting things that studies are finding right now is that by the time we're 5 to 7 years old, 85% of our adult habits are locked in. Is that crazy? Because I think it's pretty crazy. Because when you think about it, we're running on subconscious programs. I talk about this in my book too. There's 3 ways we can be programmed in our lifetime. The first way is before we can even remember. The first way we can be programmed is before we can remember. All the stuff that happened during our childhood before we can even have memory of it. And that actually is controlling our daily activities. So that's my question for you. How do you identify those things that are holding you back, that were programmed prior to you remembering? Like I said, there's 3 things. The second thing is we can be programmed by others. We can allow others to install certain programs in our minds. The third way is we can program ourselves. So we can program habits in ourselves extremely consciously as adults. So there's a lot of different ways we can program ourselves as adults, but the one crazy way is that we've been programmed prior to us even remembering that stuff. So I find that being pretty crazy. So why do I mention this in regards to anger? Is because sometimes when you're a kid, there are angry adults around you. And if you're a kid and there's some angry adults around you, you might pick up this installation of anger. Now, I heard something really interesting from Tony Robbins anger is covering up hurt. Hurt is covering up a sense of loss. So ultimately, anger stems from a sense of loss. Now, you might disagree with me on that. Maybe you agree with me on that. Maybe you agree with Tony Robbins on that or not. But it's a very interesting concept. Anger, underneath anger, is hurt. So when we get angry, we got hurt. We were hurt. So we popped. We didn't know how to react. We were hurt. But underneath that hurt is a sense of loss, because the reason we're getting angry is because we fear we might lose something. I don't know if that resonates with you, but it's fascinating to think about, because it gives you so much more compassion for people that get angry, and it gives me a lot more reasons to not get angry. Now I'm going to give you a quick little story from my past. So I was a kid and I had an anger installation in my mind, and I'll tell you how I got rid of that in a little bit. But when I was younger, I had an anger installation, and I was driving my car on the freeway, and this semi driver cuts me off. And I was so mad. I was turning red. I drove up right next to him. All I could see was him. I looked up right up at him, and I flipped him off. I gave him the bird. I gave him the finger. And he saw me, and I got kind of nervous, and I looked around. I was like, okay. And then I just went like this and tried to go forward, but the traffic stopped. The traffic stopped, and I was staring right at him, staring right back down at me after I flipped him off. So that's anger. And anger happens in a moment. It happens so quickly. It's not like you can necessarily prepare for anger, because anger it's a switch. It just happens, and it's a powerful emotion. And that's a funny story, but that's also that was probably me at one of my worst. But I just want to relay that to you, because anger can get us in some tough spots. And so now I want to mention, so basically anger that I had installed in me as a kid, I needed to get it turned off because it was ruining some relationships as a kid for me. So my mom actually knew it was, so she actually made me go to anger management at a church. And I did this anger management. I think I was like 17. I think I was like 16 or 17 years old, and she made me go to anger management. So I went to anger management at this church, and there was a group of like mid-40s, mid-50s men who were so bitter about life, about their families, about their wives, and they just wanted to drive up to the mountains on their motorcycle and like get away from their life. And they were just so bitter. And I think I maybe went twice, but I know it might have only been once. Maybe I went a second time, but really that first time, it just flipped my switch of anger off. I just went, bloop, flipped that switch off. And actually, because I didn't want to become that, I didn't want to be that, I wanted to be something much different than that. That was never my dream, to be a bitter person. So I flipped the switch off, and I wasn't angry anymore. I made a choice as a kid not to be angry. But here's also the second half to that. What I didn't realize, and I didn't realize this actually until recently, I hit a depression in 2017, which took me through 2 years of craziness. And really, it was the beginning of this year, 2019, January. Well, it was December when I really started climbing out, and of 2018. And it's interesting. So here's the thing I realized. Because during the 2 years of 2017 to 2018 and 2019, my anger switch that I had installed as a kid got flipped back on. And I didn't know it. And I hadn't surrounded myself with anybody over the last 20 so years of my life that allowed me to practice anger. I was never even allowed to, I didn't even want to practice my anger because I flipped the switch off. I didn't even really want to do it anymore. So I didn't put myself around people that would make me angry for the most part. But then I found in 2017, there was people that were making me pop. And when I say that, I know I got to make a little clarification. Making me. When I say someone made me angry, we got to understand that these emotions come from within us. So ultimately, nobody can make me angry. I get angry. I make myself angry. I choose to act angry in a situation. Maybe it's a subconscious program choice. Those programmed choices are the most powerful choices that we make because they're unconscious. So we need to learn to reprogram our subconscious. So here's what I learned. My anger switch got flipped back on for a couple years in a few moments to about 5 different people over the course of 2 years. Man, I just felt buttons being pushed, and boy, did I pop. But it also was because I was hurt at what they said, and I had a sense of loss, like maybe they were either trying to take something from me. I was in a survival mode. When you're in survival mode or scarcity mode, it's very hard to feel abundant. And I am abundant in every situation around me. I have a food forest, I have an incredible family, a lot of love. I wasn't abundant in the money or the mindset at the time. So anyways, but what I realized about all that is that the switch of anger, if you flip it off, that's good. But we really need to uninstall the things that we don't want. We have to literally uninstall them so they're not there anymore. Because if they're still there, we just flip the switch off, then they're still there. It's just turned off, and it can get turned back on when you don't expect it. I hope that makes sense. I'm trying to relay this as clear, possibly clear as I can. But anger is a powerful emotion. And when you understand that it's related ultimately, foundationally, to a fear of loss or a sense of loss, it starts unraveling a little bit for me and making me understand underneath the covers. And I hope that's doing it a little bit for you also. So that's really my message that I wanted to share with you today is anger. So put in the comments below if you've ever had a problem, not even with anger, but with anything. And if you recognize or if you resonate with what I'm saying here about anger ultimately being a sense of loss, and also that we need to uninstall some of these things that are within our subconscious paradigm that were installed before we can even remember. Yeah, we installed certain things like smoking. If you smoke cigarettes, you probably picked that up, or you allowed someone else to install that for you. But it was probably your installation. You didn't get that installed before you were 5. Well, maybe some people did. I don't know, that's the thing. The worse people act as adults, the most likely the worst was done to them before 5 to 7 years old. And that is just my opinion. So this just gives me a little bit of compassion for people out there. So I hope this helps. I hope you got some value out of this episode. If you did get some value out of this episode, please feel free to share it with 3 of your friends that might need it. I really am doing this just to encourage you all. And also in the comments below, not only put what installations do you have to uninstall, what switches have you flipped off over the years that maybe have been flipped back on that you didn't really want to be flipped back on, and what's your process for uninstalling? I've developed a full process to uninstall these hidden weaknesses and fears because I needed to do it. This wasn't my only uninstallation that I had to do. Another big one was I had to uninstall my belief in money, and I had to reinstall something new. That's a whole nother episode, but there's a lot of bad beliefs out there about money. There's a lot of cyclical, poverty-stricken beliefs about money out there that even if you get a lot of money and you're in the cycle of poverty mindset, it's not going to stick around. And I have a lot to learn on this subject, but I'm just saying that's another installation I had to totally change. So that's a whole nother video though. But anyways, that's what I wanted to talk about today. I hope you got some value out of this episode, and enjoy my sunrise on top of this mountain here. Check this out. Oh my gosh, I didn't even look at my hair, boy. See the shirt I'm wearing? I'm perfect or imperfect. We won the Phoenix Film Festival in 2017 for this movie. You can see the trailer online. It's probably on Facebook, Visceral Perception Facebook page. but it's called I'm Perfect Movie or Imperfect Movie. And you can see it's a imperfect spelling of imperfect because there would be no apostrophe. So it's, anyways, it's about designer babies and more than that. It's a indie love story dealing with genetically engineered and genetically modified babies. But we won the Phoenix Film Festival in 2017, Best Director and Best Arizona Feature. So that was pretty incredible. And Ryan Thomas Anderson, I love you, bro. He was my director. And Gavin, I love you too, bro. Hope you're doing great. And Jane, you're incredible. Hope you're doing great. But Ryan, my brother, not my real brother by blood, but definitely my brother by experiences, he passed away. It's been a while now. But he directed this movie, I'm Perfect. He wrote it, directed it. I was the producer. I helped him make it happen, helped him make his dream come true, and we did. We made his dream come true. And then after that, life comes in and just kicks your butt. But Ryan is with the big guy now, so I love you, bro, and I miss you, man. And I don't know. I love you, dude. I know you're having a good time up there. But anyways, I love all of you, and I hope all of you is having a great day, and I hope all of you has a great week, month, year, and life. And I just want to say thank you so much for doing what it takes to make this world a better place by being the best version of you that you can possibly become. So I love you so much. My name's David A. Stone, and until next time, develop awesome skills and go find your gold.